we're going to be looking at some geometric sequences, and more specifically we're going to be looking at the terms of my geometric sequence. So before we start, let's try and recall what my term formula is. So if I have Tn is equal to a multiplied by r to the power of n minus 1, Tn is going to be my nth term, a is going to be my first term, and r is going to be the common ratio. Okay, so hopefully we do already understand and know how to use this formula, okay, because we're going to be doing a little bit different questions that kind of test our knowledge about geometric sequences as a whole. So let's try and answer some of these questions. So in question 1, okay, let's try and read it. So it says the second term of a geometric sequence is 8 and the fifth term is 512. Now in part A, my question is to find the common ratio. Okay, so I want to find r, okay, so I want to keep that at the back of my head. But before I do that, let's try and interpret some of the information they gave us in the question. So this is my term formula, okay, and it tells me that the second term is 8. So if I sub in n equals to 2 to find t2, which is my second term, that should hopefully give us the value of 8. Okay, so put n equals to 2, which is my second term, and put n equals to 2 up there, okay, and that will give us 8. So if I simplify this down, 2 minus 1 is just 1, then I get this equation, AR is equal to 8. Now we can't really go any further than that, okay, because we don't know what A and R is. So we're going to let that be called equation 1. Okay, so we've got another more information up here. So it says the fifth term is 512. So if I sub in n equals to 5, then that should give me a value of 512. So similar story. Now let's simplify it. So 5 minus 1, we have AR to the power of 4 equals to 512, which is my second equation. Okay, now what did we want to find again? We want to find the common ratio, so R. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide equation 2 by equation number 1. Okay, so if we do that, this is what we'll get. So AR to the power of 4 over just AR, and divide the two values. Okay, so if I do that, on the left hand side, okay, we can see that everything will cancel out and we'll be left with R cubed. Okay, and if we evaluate the right hand side, we have 64. Now 64 is 4 cubed, which means my common ratio R should be 4. Okay, so that was the first part of this question. So we found the common ratio. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that up here as well as my other two equations, because in part B it tells us to find the first term, which is we want to find what A is. Okay, so we know what R is, and we have these two equations, okay, that involve A and R. Okay, so if I substitute R equals to 4 into some of these equations, then I should be able to find A. Okay, so I can theoretically sub it into 2 and 1, but let's just sub it into equation number 1. Okay, so substitute R into the first equation, so AR is equal to 8. Okay, and if I put R equals to 4, then we can find the value of A. Okay, we can see that A equals to 2. Okay, so that's my first term. So we'll leave that as a note. Now that we know these two things, we can find the ninth term. Okay, so how do we find the ninth term? Well, this is my term formula, so Tn. Okay, and we know what A is and we know what R is. Okay, so if I substitute them all into my formula there, I'll get a nice formula. Okay, substitute n equals to 9 as well to find the ninth term, and whatever this evaluates to will be the answer. So calculate it, and this long number will be my ninth term. Okay, so we used the term formula to answer some questions about geometric sequences.